back to the video. I like to give you guys an update on my car, but the insurance hasn't basically gave us anything on the car yet. We're still waiting on it. We're going to do something a little bit different today. Got my friend CJ here. He's going to nerd out this 2021 Mustang. He's going to do a professional detail on it. And he's basically going to show you guys how to do it.
What's going on, guys? Charles Balkenbush here with New Beginnings Auto Detailing. What we're going to do today is a premium exterior detail on this 2021 Mustang, since the Fox is still down. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so we got all of our equipment here, and when we're starting with the detail, we always want to do the dirtiest spot first. So that case is going to be the wheels and tires. Got our wheel bucket here.
We even got it marked with a W.
Always want to separate your buckets. One for rinsing, one for washing, and then one for your wheels. Don't ever interchange these.
What kind of product we using today there, CJ?
Right now we're using Meguiar's Hyper Wash.
Car in, I want to wash as fast as I can and get it out the door and do my thing. And then, once the car's out there, it looks like crap because you miss a bunch of spots. CJ here is going to show you the proper way to wash a car. And I didn't think, I washed cars for years, but nothing like how he does it. I mean, he does it for a living, and he was showing me how to wash a car the other day, and I'm going, my God, there's a lot of different ways to proper wash a car. And this is what we got CJ here for.
Tips and tricks. For
tips and tricks.
Okay, so with any detail, we always want to start with the dirtiest area first. We're going to start with the wheels and tires. Wheels and tires are always going to be the dirtiest spot because they're what's in contact with the road. So when you're cleaning wheels and tires, you want to have a dedicated wash bucket specifically for the wheels and tires. Nothing that goes in this bucket is ever going to touch the paint on this car. You do not want to get brake dust on your paint because brake dust is extremely corrosive. Any brake dust that gets into your paint is going to embed, and it's going to be extremely difficult to remove. That's why we have 3 separate buckets here. And if you take a look in these buckets, each one of them is fitted with a grit guard. And the purpose of this is to keep all the dirt that settles in the bottom of the bucket from getting into your wash mitt. We have 2 buckets here specifically for the paint. The first one being the rinse bucket. All the dirt is going to stay in this bucket, then we'll come over to the soap bucket. This is the clean water that's going to go on the paint. That's how we're going to prevent swirls and scratches from being instilled in the paint. And this is something a lot of people would never even think of. Most people would just use one bucket, like over there, and do all 3 in one go. You don't want to do that. Never cross-contaminate, always separate your buckets. So, let's get into cleaning the wheels and tires. Okay, so here's an assortment of tools that we're going to be using to clean the wheels and tires. Yes, there is a lot of them. We'll go in depth and explain each one and what its purpose is. First things first, you want to have a good set of wheel brushes. These are wheel woolies. I get all my stuff from autogeek.com. These things are not cheap, but they are fantastic brushes. I've been using these for years. They come in an assortment of sizes so that you can get into every space on these wheels. We've got our wheel bucket here with a grit guard, and we're using Meguiar's Hyper Wash as our soap. We've got a wash mitt. We have a hard bristled nylon brush for the tire sidewall. And then we have a boar's hair brush just to do all the little intricate spots like around the lug nuts. As far as cleaners go, we've got a degreaser. This is Purple Power. You can get this stuff at Walmart extremely cheap. I'd actually recommend using Super Clean. You can also get it at Walmart. I just use this stuff because it's economic. And then for the wheels, we've got Meguiar's Ultimate All-Wheel Cleaner. This stuff is safe on all finishes, chrome, aluminum, painted, and it has an iron decontaminant in it that will actually remove the embedded brake dust from the surface of the wheel. You don't want to use an acid-based wheel cleaner on 90% of applications. You can use it on aluminum and you can use it on chrome. You should never use acid on a painted wheel. It will eat the finish up. These gloss black wheels here, it would turn them like a light gray. It's really nasty stuff. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna rinse everything off real thoroughly, try to knock as much of that dirt out as we can before we start doing our contact wash. So Boomer here, gonna rinse out the wheel well good and thoroughly. And these newer vehicles, they don't have plastic liners, they have cloth. They're a pain in the butt to clean, but they're a lot easier to do. You don't have to scrub them, you can just hit them with a pressure. First thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna rinse everything thoroughly prior to cleaning. The idea here being we want to try to remove as much of the dirt as we can, as fast as we can. That's why we're going to give it a thorough rinse. Now, these cloth fender liners are going to take a little bit, so we'll probably go ahead and skip this. We don't want to bore you with that, but we'll come back whenever we get ready to clean the wheel and tire. Okay, so next we're going to move on to the tire. We're going to start with our degreaser, and we're just going to liberally spray it on the sidewall. You don't have to worry about cleaning the tread. It's going to get dirty the minute you move. You want to make sure the wheel's good and wet before you spray the cleaner on. You don't want any of that stuff to settle on the finish. We're going to take our stiff bristle brush. We're going to agitate. Try to break loose all of that grime. Do your best to avoid hitting the wheel here. You don't want to mar the finish. Key here, be thorough. You don't want to miss anything. When the time comes to dress this tire, any dirt that's on there, you're going to see it. So make sure you're thorough. You can use a small detail brush so that you can get in between the wheel and tire safely. Go ahead and dip that in your wash bucket. Now we're ready to rinse. Using a pressure washer, you want to maintain a safe distance away from the surface that you're cleaning. You get right up on it, you can't damage it. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're using a pressure washer. Stay back a little bit. Let the pressure washer do its job. Don't barrel stuff it. Now we're going to move on to cleaning the wheel. What we're going to use here is Meguiar's Ultimate All-Wheel Cleaner. Just go ahead and saturate the entire wheel. Make sure that you spray the inside barrel portion of the wheel thoroughly. Don't be stingy with the product. Use as much as you have to. If you think you've used too much, you haven't. I like to do the inside first, and then I spray the spokes so that any overspray will go through to the inside. It just helps to ensure you've got full coverage. We're going to let this sit for just a few seconds. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and grab some of our brushes here. Wheels like this that are relatively tight, we're going to use the medium-sized brush. Make sure to dip it in the soap bucket. Now on wheels, typically you want to start from bottom to top. This is reverse of the way we would normally wash something. The reason being, if you start at the top and go to the bottom, all that dirt that you clean up here is going to run down. And whenever you go to clean the bottom, you're just going to be grinding it back in. Start from the bottom and then work to the top. Next, we're going to take out our small brush so that we can get actually behind the face of the spokes here. Okay, so now we're going to use our big brush to clean in between the spokes. The key here, you don't want to use a whole lot of pressure. Use repetition. But don't go grinding it repeatedly into the paint. A couple passes, move on to the next one. Let the cleaner do its job. Another useful tip. Make sure that you're constantly rinsing off the brush. Just a quick dip in the bucket, get back to it.
And another thing, you know, I mean, like CJ was talking about, it's really nice to do this like in a garage or a day that's the sun's just not beating down on the car.
Yeah, if you're doing this outside, make sure that you keep the wheel wet. If you're inside, you shouldn't have a problem, but don't ever let this stuff dry, because if you let the cleaner dry on the surface, it can cause damage.
Another thing is, another thing would be really good if you had a good water softener for your water.
Yeah, if you have any kind of deionization system, that's fantastic.
A lot of iron in your water, it's horrible.
Around here, the water's really hard. It's got all kinds of minerals in it, so if you let that dry on your finish, it'll leave a bunch of nasty white spots. I'm sure all of you are familiar with that. If you have a water softener, you won't have to worry about that. You can let your vehicles air dry and they won't spot. But most people can't afford that kind of a setup. We don't have that luxury here, so we got to kind of move quickly. Next up, we're going to grab our detail brush. We're going to go around all the small spots like in the lug nut holes. Again, we're not grinding on it. I'm going to use repetition.
Working it.
Then I grab the wash mitt and we'll clean the face of the wheel. All right, now we'll rinse. Now we will rinse. Something to remember here, whenever you're rinsing any kind of cleaner off your vehicle, you never rinse too thoroughly. Again, you don't want any of that stuff to remain on the surface. If it dries, you're going to run into problems. Bring you guys in close here so we can actually take a look at the inside of this wheel. You can see all the brown in there. That's brake dust. That's just the metal flakes that come off your pads and your rotor as you hit the brakes. You can see here just how much of it is accumulated on this wheel. The whole thing on the inside is just completely brown. That's why you want to use a good wheel cleaner like this that has an iron remover in it, because it'll actually allow this stuff to break down and become water soluble. You can see in here all of this purple. It turns purple whenever it reacts with iron particles. It becomes water soluble. Then whenever we do our agitation with a brush, we can just rinse it right off. Just wanted to bring you guys in and kind of show you what a dirty wheel looks like. Okay, so we just finished cleaning the wheels and tires, and I just want to bring you all in to take a look at the wheel bucket. This is why we separate all of our buckets. Look at that. That is disgusting. Now imagine dragging that from the wheels up onto your paint. You can see why you don't want to do it. I'm going to go dump this out, and we'll come back and look at the stuff that's actually settled in the bucket, and you'll see why we use grit guards. Wheel bucket. You look down in here and see some of the solid debris that's left behind. Now, just imagine that you drop your wash mitt down on that, and then you go back to clean your car. You're going to be dragging that all over the paint. You're going to be scratching it. That's why we use grit guards. Drop that in there. Now all the dirt stays below it, and all the clean water above it. So now we're going to go ahead and do the actual wash. We're going to start off by rinsing the vehicle thoroughly, followed up by a pre-foam treatment. Then we'll actually get into the contact wash itself. You want to start rinsing from top to bottom always. All the dirt that's at the top, wash it down to the bottom. You start from the bottom and work to the top, and you're working against yourself. The idea here, you want to do this in the most efficient way possible. Start from top to bottom. Turn me off. We'll cut out the last bit. Right now we're going to do the pre-foam treatment. So we've got our foam cannon here. We're going to fill it up with a little bit of soap. Don't mind that. We fill this thing up with a little bit of soap and water. Now the amount of soap you're going to use is going to vary depending on what soap you're using. Hyper Wash is pretty concentrated, so I'm probably only going to use about 5 ounces of it, and we'll see how that works. So there's our 5 ounces. We're going to fill it up the rest of the way with water, and then we can start having some fun. Now for the fun part. Absolutely incredible stuff. I've never actually used it before, but I'm very impressed with it.
Yeah. It smells good.
The foam's good. Has a very high dilution ratio, and rinses easily.
Yeah, see, I got a question. How much is one of these foam cannons?
This is an MTM foam cannon. You can get these things on Amazon. I'm not sure exactly how much these are going for nowadays, but you can get an exact replica, an aftermarket one, for $20. And honestly, the amount of work that this thing gets done, you might as well pick one up. If you're somebody that wants to take care of your vehicle, I recommend a foam cannon. It's great for a pre-wash deal because you can get all that dirt, all those contaminants, break those loose and rinse them off before you even begin your contact wash. And that's going to eliminate a whole bunch of marring, a whole bunch of swirling that you'd otherwise cause just by dragging all that dirt back and forth across your paint. Redundancy is the name of the game. We're trying to preserve the paint the best we can. The best way to do that is to not touch it. If we can get all that dirt off without having to touch it, we're ahead of the game. The paint's going to last longer, the car's going to stay cleaner. tools like this, that's how we accomplish that. Okay, so now we're going to begin the contact wash. We've got our 2 buckets here. We've got our rinse bucket labeled number 1. We've got our soap bucket labeled number 2. And typically, whenever we're doing a premium exterior detail, we would have 2 separate wash mitts. We'd use one for the top half of the vehicle and then one for the bottom half. Once again, you can kind of see a trend here. We're trying to keep the dirt separate from the clean surface. We don't want to take the dirt up to the clean surface. In this case, we've only got 1 wash mitt, so this car's not too dirty. We're going to go ahead and do the top first, and then we'll move to the bottom. So first things first, you always want to take your wash mitt in the rinse bucket, agitate it. Try to knock as much dirt out of it as you can. Wring it out, come over to your soap bucket and do the same thing. The less dirt that you carry onto the paint, the better. Okay, then we can move to the car, and again, we'll work top to bottom. You want to work in straight lines, try to follow the body lines on the car. Any kind of swirling that you put in the paint, you want it to run with the body lines. It'll make it less noticeable. If you come up here and grind it in a circle, you'll be able to see those scratches from all angles. If you just run straight back and forth, you'll only be able to see it from the side. Now, we're just letting the mitt do the work, just gliding it across the surface. We're not using any pressure here. You can see I'm not grinding in on it at any place. I'm just running it back and forth gently. Once or twice is plenty. You don't have to worry about technique so much on glass because you can't scratch the glass very easily. You just go ahead and clean it however you want to. Then we'll flip to the clean side of the mitt and we'll keep working our way through the car. Again, working from top to bottom, light pressure, letting the mitt do the work. Now, in most vehicles, there'll be a body line somewhere about midway on the car. In this case, we're going to use the bumper line as our midway point. We won't go below that until we've already done the entire top of the car.
You do that for TJ, the body line.
The body line, it just gives you a visual point of reference so you can kind of divide the car into top and bottom. As you can see here, this line starts up high and you come down here and it's substantially lower. You pick a visual point of reference, you don't go below it across the whole car. Just makes it easy.
And then most of your dirt's probably down on the bottom anyway. You're heavier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heavier dirt.
All your dirt's going to be down low because it's where your wheels kick it up at. So you start up top where it's clean, then work your way to the bottom. Start from the bottom and go to the top. You're going to bring all that dirt with you and you're going to scratch the paint. Once you've finished going over your panels, you come back to your rinse bucket. Agitate. Get all that dirt out. And this is what really separates a premium detail from just your average wash job. This right here. Take your time, get that mitt nice and clean, then go back in.
Another thing, it keeps your bucket soapy too. You know, usually like when I wash, usually half the vehicle, when I'm washing, there's no more soap in the bucket because it's all grimed up.
Yeah, and that's another thing. You're keeping all the dirt out of your soap bucket. Keeping a nice clean soap so you can use it on the paint. All the dirt ends up in the rinse bucket.
You always got a good soapy bucket every time.
Okay, so we just finished our contact wash. Now we're going to move on to decontaminating the paint. We're going to start off with a mechanical decontamination using a clay bar, and then we're going to move on to a chemical decontamination using iron fallout removal. Now, a clay bar is just a piece of automotive resin, or industrial resin rather, and the whole purpose of this is we're going to glide this across the paint and it's going to pick up any of those contaminants that are embedded in the surface. Anything that didn't come off during the wash, this is what's going to take it out. If you feel your paint and you feel that it's kind of rough and gritty, it's not real smooth, you've got embedded contaminants and you need to use a clay bar. When you use a clay bar, you always want the surface to be wet and slippery. So we went ahead and rinsed the car. We have not dried it. We're going to keep it wet throughout the whole process. Don't ever let the car dry. And we've got here is a mixture of just soap and water. We used our hyper wash, a little bit of water, and we're just going to do the same thing.
Where can you get that?
Where can you get the clay bar at? Any auto parts store or anything like that?
Yeah, if you're looking for a clay bar that you can just go and buy over the counter, I recommend just going to Walmart. Get the Mother's Clay Bar Kit. It comes with everything you need. It even comes with a microfiber towel, and clay is actually really good quality. Some of it is terrible, some of it's really good. The Mother's Yellow Clay Bars are really good.
How long does it last?
It depends really on how hammered the vehicle is. If you've got a really bad vehicle, you're going to use the entire thing just because you don't want to keep using dirty clay on your paint. Now a car like this, you could do a couple dozen with this one piece. The big thing is, it comes in a big block. You want to break off a small piece and just knead yourself out a little flat piece like that.
What happens if it falls on the ground?
If you drop this, it's trash. Don't try to reuse it. It's going to pick up all the dirt and all the rocks off the ground. Just throw it away, get a new piece. It's also why we break them down into little small pieces like this. So if you drop it, you don't lose the whole thing. Just take it, flatten it out a little bit, get as much surface area as you can. Lubricate the panel that you're going to be working on. You want to come in close here. Always recommend that you pinch this. Don't ever try to just hold it against the surface with your fingers because you're going to drop it. Pinch it so it can't fall. And what we're doing here, same principle as whenever we wash the vehicle. We're not using any pressure here. I'm just gliding it back and forth, kind of whipping my wrist, and we're letting the clay bar do the work. Just glide it across the surface. And if your car is really contaminated, you'll be able to feel it. You'll feel it kind of grabbing. It'll feel tacky. This car is actually in really good shape. The paint's pretty smooth, so there's not a whole lot of contamination. We can really just whip through it. Won't take long at all. Some vehicles, you could be at this for hours, depending on how much contamination is stuck on the surface. In this case, you'll probably have this done in 20 minutes.
How many times this needs to be done?
Ideally, you only want to use this whenever necessary because you are going to end up marring the paint surface. You use a clay bar, ideally you want to follow up with polish afterwards. This is not something you would do as regular maintenance. This is an as-needed basis. What you can do what we call the baggie test. You can get a sandwich bag and just kind of feel the paint surface. The bag kind of helps to increase the tactile sensation in your fingers. Any dirt or contaminants that are stuck in your paint surface, you're going to feel that. If you can feel a lot of it, then you know you need to use a clay bar. Usually, on a vehicle that's maintained well, do this about once a year. If your vehicle doesn't get maintained a lot, you're going to have to do it more often. A lot of that depends on what kind of maintenance your vehicle sees. Now, key thing to note here, depending on how dirty the vehicle is, you can see this clay bar's actually got something green in it. I'm not sure what that would be, but that is some kind of your clay bar. You always want to flip it over to a clean side. Whenever the other side gets dirty, just knead the clay bar, fold it over on itself until you've revealed the clean surface. You don't want to go dragging the dirt back across the paint. Remember, if you think you're using too much lubrication, you're not.
That's what she said.
What's up?
We don't do chamois.
No more chamois? I have a chamois.
No more chamois.
No, don't use the chamois.
Oh.
We gotta shut the door.
So now we're going to move on to drying the car. Boomer here is going to go around and air dry as much as he can, and then we're going to use a microfiber towel to dry the rest of the car. The reason we use a microfiber towel, if you come in close here, you can see just how many little fibers there are here. You don't want to use a chamois to dry your car, because if you have any dirt left on your paint, again, the chamois is just going to drag the dirt around. The microfiber towel, these things have a little bit of static to them. They'll actually pull the dirt into the fibers, keep it off the surface of your paint. We also use the air dryer as much as possible because, again, you can't scratch it if you don't touch it. So, Boomer, you can go ahead and start air drying.
Milwaukee?
Not a sponsor yet. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm just moving in straight lines. You don't want to go back and forth. The idea is to get the water off the car, not spread it around. So open that towel up, use light pressure, move in one direction. Again, we're trying to follow the body lines on the car so that any swirls that we do put in the paint are going to be harder to see. Okay guys, we just got done drying the car. We're going to move on to the chemical decontamination now. You might be wondering, why did we dry the car before we did this? Well, we don't want the water to dilute our cleaner here. We went ahead and dried the whole car. Now the cleaner will be able to interact directly with the paint. It won't be diluted. We'll be able to see how much brake dust we have on the paint. We can go from there. We're just going to test a small area. You know, that's the beauty of Meguiar's Ultimate All-Wheel Cleaner. Works great on paint too. It's completely safe. All this is a mild cleaner and then the iron decontaminant. Stuff's cheap. It's readily available. You can get it at Walmart. Use it for both. Works great on wheels, works great for brake dust. Close here, it's probably gonna be kind of difficult to see, but right here is a little speck of brake dust. You can see turning purple very lightly. This is mild enough that you really wouldn't want to worry about it. You could if you wanted to, but it's very slight. As far as I'm concerned, this isn't bad enough to do the entire car. Now, in a typical premium exterior job, I would go ahead and do this anyway regardless, just because you're paying for it. In this case, we're gonna opt to skip this step. Now we've got the car cleaned, it's decontaminated, the paint is completely virgin, no contaminants on the surface. We're ready to apply our wax. Here we're gonna be using Griot's Ceramic 3-in-1. This stuff, you can look it up on YouTube, Scott H. He's done tests on all kinds of different waxes. This stuff here survived 300 days from a single application. That's on a black hood in the Texas sun. You get this stuff at O'Reilly's for $17. I guarantee you a bottle of this will last the average person a lifetime. Stuff is really good. Do yourselves a favor, if you don't have this, pick it up. Come to the top of the vehicle here. Turn on our spray bottle first. Make sure you set that thing to spray and not to stream. I'm going to spray a little bit on the rag, a little bit on the panel, and a little goes a long way. We're just going to work it in. This stuff is fantastic. It's easy to use. It doesn't streak. And it wipes off clean. Boomer, you want to grab a dry towel. The idea being you want to spread it out first, then you can come back through with another towel and dry it off. And I'd like to point out something here. I just noticed. He thought it was a clean one. Don't do that. See all the little spots of dirt.
This is how you're supposed to photo microfiber cloth by CJ cloth. Fold it like that. Fold it like that.
Now, my friend here is kind of condescending when it comes to folding his microfibers, but I promise you, there is a method to the madness. You want to explain to the people why we do that?
You can explain it.
Okay, so when you've got your towel open up like this and you're drying it with your hand, all that pressure in your hand is distributed in the shape of your hand. It's going to be very uneven, and then you've only got two sides to work with. If you fold this thing into quarters, fold it in half, and then fold it in half again, now you got something to grab onto. All that pressure is distributed evenly across the towel, and the best part is, when this side gets too wet, flip it over to the dry side. When those sides get dirty or wet, you've got two more sides. You can open it up and fold it the other way, don't drop it, and you've got 8 sides total instead of 2. That's why we fold our towels, very important. We're gonna get back to waxing the vehicle, and we'll show you what it looks like when we're finished. Plastic, glass, whatever. Spray it on, wipe it off.
So you can put it on glass too?
Yeah,
Does
it
make
works
it
great
shiny?
on glass.
It does?
It makes everything shiny. Plastic, all that. A lot of people get kind of nervous when they're waxing the car. They're all used to carnauba wax that'll turn white if you get it on black plastic. Carnauba wax is dead. It's a thing of the past. This here, it is a paint sealant. It means it's a synthetic wax, and it says it's ceramic. Usually that's just a term that means it has silicon dioxide in it. Honestly, I have no idea what is in the stuff. I'd have to look up the material data, the safety sheet to tell you for sure, but it's a paint sealant and it's safe on all surfaces. Go to town with it. This is the Frank's Red Hot wax. You can use this on everything. All right, guys, so we're on to the last step now. We just got done waxing the car. Looks great, as you can see. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna use our detail spray here. We're gonna go around all the edges. This is where we're gonna really dial in this job. We're gonna make sure there's no streaks, no spots that we've missed. I'm gonna show you how we make our detail spray here. We don't buy pre-mixed. We like to save money, get the best product that we can. So what we've got here is Wolfgang Uber. It's the rinseless wash. And you can use this as a rinseless wash, works great. Typically, I don't do rinseless washes. I like to use water wherever possible, but as far as making this into a detail spray, all we do is grab ourselves a spray bottle, and we put typically about 5 ounces of rinseless wash, and then we fill it up with distilled water. Very important to use distilled water, because if you use tap water, all the minerals that are in it, and if you let it dry on the paint, it's going to cause it to streak and spot. Distilled water will evaporate completely clean and leave nothing behind. The reason we use a detail spray instead of a spray wax is, number one, stuff tends to evaporate easier, doesn't spot, doesn't streak, and it has a lot more lubrication in it. Spray wax is more of a protectant, detail sprays are more of a lubricant, so that's why we're using a detail spray here instead of a spray wax. And it's the same basic process. We want to wet the surface of our microfiber generously. And we'll just come around the vehicle, kind of look for anywhere where there's streaks. The most visible place you're going to find it is on the glass. Just give it a light misting, and then just buff it clean. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to edge out the whole vehicle and make sure we didn't miss any spots. By the end of this car will be 100%. And the best part is now, the next time we go to do a maintenance wash on it, all the work's already done, all the protection's already there. Our job will be so much easier. Washing, drying, will take half the time. Last step here, we're just going to apply a nice tire gel to our tires. This is Optimum OptiBond. This stuff here is durable and it's water-based, so it won't actually dry your tires out. This stuff here will actually help prolong the life of your tires. A lot of you probably have seen, once a tire starts to get a little age on it, the sidewall will start to crack and dry out. A lot of that happens because people use a solvent-based tire dressing. It dries out the rubber. This stuff here will actually nourish the rubber, help it last longer, and it's extremely durable. This stuff, even though it's water-based, will survive multiple washes and still look decent. So what we're going to do here...
A lot of people just use like a spray foam, just spray it over their tires, and then it just...
Yeah, get overspray all over the wheels and stuff. I use a tire gel because there's no sling. If you use a liquid dressing and you don't wipe it off all the way when you go driving down the road, first thing it's going to do is sling all over your paint, and then you're going to have a mess. With a tire gel, you can even put a sprayer on the bottle. Just squeeze you out a generous little bit here, and then just work it into the tire. There's nothing to sling off here. And gels are typically more durable anyway than a dressing.
And you'll get, does it get on your hands? Does it dry? Or
this stuff will actually dry to the touch too. It won't stay greasy and slimy like a lot of cheaper dressings. And this stuff here is only like 20 bucks. Get it on autogeek.net. Wait till they have a 25% off sale because nobody likes to pay full price. Now, I have to point out how I've dropped this towel on the ground here. That's going to go straight in the hamper. We're not going to pick that up. We're not going to reuse it. We're not even going to fold it over to a clean side. Put it in the hamper. Go get a fresh one. If you ever drop one.